Here's the speech. We we began this a couple of days ago. Here's a speech given by Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991. It's a speech that really sort of shook everybody up, and you'll see why. Okay, the Rebbe is saying like this: Mashiach is the goal of creation. It's the goal of Judaism. It should be the most important topic in our lives to do everything we can to bring Mashiach. And that's why the Torah was given in order to make it happen. And Mashiach will make this world good, but also Mashiach will show amazing, amazing miracles in the world, which are greater than the miracles that happened going out of Egypt. Which I know we've repeated this a lot of times, but it's the miracles going out of Egypt were, in the end, were not successful. They took the Jews physically out of Egypt, but spiritually, the first chance they had, they worshipped the golden calf. And afterwards, they repeated that sin in various forms. And the first temple was destroyed. The second temple was destroyed. And we're in exile, and the Jews still haven't gotten it right. They didn't get it right. So all the prophets come along, Isaiah and Jeremiah, and etc., and they all promise that don't worry, God has not given up on us. No way. And he's never going to give up on us. God is never going to give up on the Jews. And he's never going to give up on the Torah, and he's never going to change the Torah, never going to change the commandments. And God's promise is still true. He's going to gather all the Jews up from all the world. And why? Because the revelation of God will be so good and so great, and there'll be the third temple, and the world will be so wonderful and, how you say, pleasant and happy to do what God wants, that the whole world, all the Jews will come to Israel, and the whole world will be happy. This is supposed to happen any moment. It's supposed to happen. It says, Erenu niflots, I will show the Jewish people, miracles that are so high that only God can do. Hu levada yodea shu nes, and you'll see and you'll feel these miracles in such a way that it'll be constant, and you'll never forget, and it'll be imbued in our personality, and we'll want from our own personal choice to serve God, and so will the whole world. This is supposed to happen any second now, says the Rebbe. And we've been working at this at least since the temple was destroyed, almost 2,000 years. And, well, we've been saying any second now, we've been saying this but still we have to keep saying it because it's the truth. Ubezed Gufa, he says there's two ways of these miracles going to happen. A Seder mitzad metziut olam, in the world. Niflot erenu, the world is this kativot shtarot, that we write documents according to the date of the document, is according to when the world is created, how the world works. And also, I will show you miracles. Now, showing you miracles, that's the first way. Mitzad metziut olam, the world itself, from below to above, harizen niflot, it'll be miracles that are above any sort of revelation. V'hitgalutam, and the revelation will be pu'ula miuchedet de'arenu, that God will encourage everyone in the world somehow or other and show us such deep, amazing miracles that everyone will be inspired. That's according to the Torah, which is Lashon HaKatuv, what it says, Erenu niflot. God said, I will show you miracles. It doesn't say you. I will show the Jewish people. I will show miracles. That in the beginning there's a revelation of Erenu, revealed miracles that are above nature. So there's two ways. One is how the world will be revealed, the godliness, and the other way will be that God will how what's going to happen to the world and how God is going to reveal. What we're going to do will be inspired. And the other one is how God is going to do the inspiration. And there is one, there is one that's not in the other. The revelations of God will be great, and also the change in us will be great. That God is going to show us miracles from above to below. This is showing a level which is completely higher than godliness that we can possibly imagine. Something like what it was on Mount Sinai of Lagila, but the real revelation will be mainly what God does, and not because of the world. We'll feel that everything is a miracle, above understanding. But then there's also what's called Niflot Areno. That's the year. That was, I see what the Rebbe is saying. The year was Tavshin Nun Aleph. So it says the year of Niflot Areno. This is miracles I will show you. That Harizem Mitzad Gidri Tachtonin. First of all, there's the miracles, and then we'll feel it's God's miracles. Of Olomit Galim Dargas Alukus, it won't be revealed totally above the godliness which is above the world. Maybe an example of this, the second one is what we call Hashgacha Pratit. Suddenly things work out. Suddenly everything works out. Suddenly the doctors find, a new medicine for somebody, a new treatment. Right? Somebody feel, well, you don't have to make an operation. All we have to do is press on the person's kneecap in such a way. We just revealed this and this, right? Miracles that are done in a natural way, right? People that having children, all of a sudden the doctors develop a new way that they have children, right? Things happen in a miraculous way that you have to say, wow, that's a big miracle. That's a big miracle. And the other way will be that it's so amazing. Like, for instance, when the Jews left Egypt, things that happen, splitting of the sea. That's a miracle. You could see that it's God. It's not just an increase, a normal thing that's going on at all. Okay, so God said in the prophet Micha, said, I will show you miracles. Like the days of going out of Egypt, then you were surprised by miracles. The miracles that are going to be in the future are going to be even greater than those when you left Egypt. That's going to surprise you even more. If you got used to miracles, that God already did that, splitting the sea. God already split the sea for the Jews. God already rained bread from heaven. God already did that. It'll be something that God never did before. And it'll be in two ways. One, that we appreciate and that we can feel, like I say, things all of a sudden start working out in the world, right? The ground becomes fertile and less people have diseases, etc. The criminals decide to turn in their laptops and admit their crimes and stop doing it, right? And then there's ways that are going to be miracles that are going to be heavenly miracles that everyone's going to see that it's just totally not normal. God, pure godliness. The total completion is going to be when these two things come together. Niflot Ereno, that's the year, Tavshin Nun Aleph, that's when the Rebbe was speaking. And Ereno Niflot, and God showing miracles from above to below. That both of them together should mitgaleh dargat elokus, that is revealed the level of godliness shalamayla, which is totally above the world. And together with this, it'll be drawn down into the world. People will see and feel it's God's world, that nothing is comprehensible, everything is miracles, but we'll be able to live with that. That's going to be the idea of what Moshiach is going to bring. And it's going to happen for sure. The Chol Rosh, first of all, there has to be revelations, which was talking about in the Torah, Sicha, like the going out of Egypt. Miracles of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. Hitgalut and Niflot, showing miracles of the future redemption by means of the Mashiach. The main thing is right. The main thing is that there has to be, like it says, there has to be both types of miracles that come from God, and then miracles that come from the world that we can understand, that we can't understand. Nevertheless, there has to be big miracles. And it has to happen any second, says the Rebbe. And I'll show you some of the signs what has to happen. And the Rebbe is trying to say like this: I know people have been saying the same thing that I'm saying, They've been saying for 2,000 years. But forget about that. Forget about that. It says in the Torah it's going to happen. It says in the Torah must happen, right? Everyone in the world says it's not going to happen. They're all wrong. The Torah is right. And it has to happen any second now. Says the Rebbe, I'll give you a few signs why. Now we have to remember that the Rebbe said this was already 34 years ago when he said it. On this year, in addition to the fact that the whole month and the day of the month and the day of the week, the entire week and the day of the week, every single one of these details in time, right? The month, the day of the month, the week, the day of the week, these are all clear indications that Mashiach has to come right now, immediately. Okay, so let's try to apply that to us right now. The month of Nisan is a month of redemption. The month we're in the month of Nisan. That in the month of Nisan, we go out of Egypt. The days of going out of Egypt. And in it should be the future redemption. God said, I will show you miracles, like the rabbis say, that in Nisan we were redeemed, and in Nisan we're going to be redeemed. That's what it's going to happen. 14, where is it? 14? In Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. So if so, we're in the month of Nisan. Nisan is the month of redemption. And we have to keep reminding ourselves all the time, and that's what the Rebbe is doing, reminding that this for sure is going to happen. And it doesn't make any difference what we've said in the past, that for sure it's going to happen, for sure it's going to happen, and it didn't happen. Okay, whatever, God has his reasons why, but if it says in the Torah that it's going to happen, for sure it's going to happen, and the Rebbe wants to get us excited about it. The Rebbe wants to make us certain about it. For sure there's going to be a redemption. That's the whole purpose of the world, the goal of the world. It's promised in the Torah. The Maimonides says the Torah is filled with these promises. In the month of Nisan itself, we're in the night. The Rebbe spoke. This is a speech which is Kaf Ches Nisan. The night which joins the Kaf Zayin Nisan, the 27th of Nisan, and the 28th day of Nisan. The 27th day of Nisan are the letters of Zach. That's when the Rebbe was making the speech, right? That's the letters of Zach. Like we say, Shemen Zayed Zach. Like it says, pure, means pure. This means Behirut. This shows us revelation, Erenu. And the month of Nisan is the month of Gula. Erenu Niflaot. Like it says in Micha. We can also add on that there's an extra thing about the number Kaf Zayin, 27, which is 9 times 3. 3 times 9. And it was 3 times 3 times 3. Right? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Hainu, she'enyan shel Nisan, the whole idea of Nisan, which is the future redemption, is in a way of 3 times. The number 3 in Judaism is a chazaka. When something happens 3 times, it's considered to be permanent. If a person does a certain act 3 times in a row, then it's considered to be like a vow. He has to continue doing it. Talk to your local rabbi about what this is, but in general, that's. But talat zimne chazaka. When you do something 3 times, it's called a chazaka. 3 times 3 times 3. So that shows that the future redemption is certain. 27th day. This we've spoken about many times about the general idea of the year, that it's stressed in the stress the idea of redemption. That the beginning of it is the 3 days which are holiness. That when a person does something and repeats it 3 times, like it says 3 times in Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot and Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, the 3 times. So when it's repeated, holiness It means that that the holiness is like fixed in the world. And the day after that, and this is the day the Rebbe was speaking, is the 28th day of Nisan. 28th day of Nisan is the letters koach, power. Now you might say, okay, the Rebbe is, he's putting all these things together that, okay, it's like poetry, it's like, interesting stuff. But the fact is that everything in the world, every rock, every tree, every leaf is sending us some sort of a message from God. Because God is creating everything. He's creating everything with letters. Letters means speech. So God is trying to tell us something with everything. He's trying to tell us something which is unusual, not in the usual way, not how to make money or how to win friends and influence people. He's telling us something about God, something about what reality is, in every single detail there is in the world. It tells the story of the Rabbi Akiva, who was the greatest of all the scholars of the Torah, maybe of all time, Torah scholars, that he only started to learn when he was 40 years old, started to learn Torah. And for 40 years, he learned Torah. And in the beginning, he didn't succeed at all, not at all. And he really, really wanted to learn the Torah. He knew the holiness of the Torah. He felt the purity of the Torah. He knew that the Torah was the only chance of the world to be refined. And he wanted, but he was a dunce. He couldn't get anything in his mind. And he sat and learned, and he forgot everything that he learned. He went out into the field, and he sat all dejected under a tree, whatever, and he heard dripping, tick, 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 tick. He walked over and he saw that from some place, wherever, from a higher place, a rock or something like that, was dripping water on another big rock. And it had dripped on the same place for who knows years, and it made a hole in the rock. And he said, well, if something so soft like water can make a hole in something so hard like a rock just through perseverance, so for sure, something as strong as the Torah can permeate into my brain if I just persevere. So he learned a very deep, life-changing message from just a hole in a rock. And the fact is that, okay, everything teaches us about God, right? For him, that's what taught him. For another person, it would be a leaf that was on a tree next to that hole. He wouldn't notice the hole at all. That would change his life. In any case, everything is there to teach us a lesson. So the Rebbe says time is also there, and the date of the month, and the date of the year. It's all coming and pointing to Moshiach. That's the 28th day of the month. It gives us the power, koach, to bring the future redemption, actually, the koach, the courage. And in addition, because in a general way, the month, the week, and the day of the week. Here we talked about the month, Nisan, and the day of the month, the 27th, 28th. Now let's talk about the week and the day of the week, how that's pointing to Mashiach. Excuse me. Klaus Shavua, this week, we're learning Parshat Shmini. That's what we're learning, right? Parshat Shmini. That Parshat Shmini is attached to the idea of the future redemption. And in the week of Parshat Shmini, we're now in Yom Shlishi. What happened to be in Yom Revi, but the Rebbe was speaking was Yom Shlishi. And Shlishi happens to be a chazaka, like we said, of Shmini. What's Shmini? Shmini, the Rebbe explains a lot of places, is talking about the days of the Mashiach. It says that the harp, which was used in the base of the Mikdash, had 7 strings on it, and of that of the Mashiach is going to be the number 8. The number 8 is also the number of the circumcision, the brit, the connection between us and God. Right? So that's the day. The week is the week of Shmini, and the day that the Rebbe was speaking was the 3rd day of the week. We can say it's the 4th day of the week. That's when God put the lights in the heavens. Everything we can do this on our own. if it comes to a positive result. Today's the 4th day of the week. The 4th day of the week is when God put the lights in the heavens. So the illuminates. That shows on Mashiach that's going to illuminate the whole world. Hayom, what about the day of the week? When the Rebbe was speaking, it was Erev Shabbos. It was Thursday night, the Rebbe was speaking. That we're reading Parshat Shmini, the whole entire Thursday. We read the whole. I'm sorry, Thursday night. This is Erev Shabbat, in other words. Excuse me. But Kaviyah Shana Zurim this year, it says by Yom Shemini, we read Shemini. When sometimes there's some years when we read Shemini, this week's Torah portion, 8 times. 8 times. This year we don't. This year we only read it, if I'm not mistaken, I think 5 times, maybe 6 times. We read it 8 times. And the Rebbe explains how it can be. If Passover falls like almost a week after Shabbos Agadol, then it can be that before Shabbos we read Shmini, and on the Mincha of the Shabbat. Anyway, it ends up that we read 8 times. This year we don't. So we're reading the Shmini 8 times, which is the number 8 represents the number of redemption. We can also talk about the highness of this day. What's the day? The day is on Kaf Ches Nisan. We come to Kaf Tes Nisan. The days. What about the days after this? The coming days. The 29th day of Nisan. This is Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar. This is by us is not going to be this Shabbos. It's going to be this is talking about next Shabbos. Yom Kippur Katan. Yom Kippur Katan. Some people fast on the. It's something like Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the day that God got married to the Jewish people. That's Yom Kippur. That was when God gave the second tablets. It says in the future there's going to be God is going to marry the Jewish people. That's the idea of the 29th day. It says that, and from it comes Rosh Chodesh. That comes when the moon is new. And that's also similar to the Jewish people, that the Jewish people are going to become renewed like the moon. That's going to be the future redemption. In our case, we're talking about Rosh Chodesh is 2 days. It's coming the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Is that the way it is this year by us? I'm sorry, I didn't have a look. I think it should. 1 second. Let me have a look here. Give me a moment. Yes. Yes, 2 days. By us is also 2 days. By us is going to be Yom Sheni and Shlishi. 2 days of Rosh Chodesh when the moon is becoming new. The moon becoming new, that's another hint at Mashiach. And also this year, the Erev Rosh Chodesh is Yom Shabbos. That's also going to be next. It's going to be next week, though. Next week it's going to be that way. The Erev Rosh Chodesh is Shabbos. So what do? We say Yom Kippur Katan. Yom Kippur Katan, some people fast the day before Rosh Chodesh. That it's relevant to the day before Rosh Chodesh, the days which are before Shabbat. And on Shabbat itself, it says there's also the service of serving God with happiness. That's the day, the marriage day of God. And the main thing is, Erev Rosh Chodesh, when it falls on Shabbos, it stressed the idea of the future redemption. So this we can also find connections, the same thing. The same thing, that every day we can find some sort of a connection to Mashiach is supposed to come immediately. From this, we come to the first day of Iyar, that's next month. And then the second day of Iyar, that's the day of the birth of the Rebbe Marash, the 4th Rebbe of Chabad. that it says that his day that he was born of the Rebbe Marash was Tiferet Shabbat Tiferet. Now we're counting Sfirat HaOmer, and every day of Sfirat HaOmer is another Sfira of God's 10 Sfirot, of God's personality, of 10 Sfirot. Sfirat HaOmer, for the reasons, whatever reason it is, it's only 7. We count only the 7 emotions of God, and each one contained the 7. So the day that the Rebbe Marash, the 4th Rebbe of Chabad, was born, that was the day that falls out on what's called Tiferet Shabbat Tiferet. Tiferet Shabbat Tiferet of the Sfirat HaOmer. And Tiferet Shabbat Tiferet means beauty of beauty. Beauty of beauty. The 4th Rebbe of Chabad, his whole thing was L'chatchila Riber, jumping over all obstacles, ignoring all difficulties. is the Welt sagt, like he said, the world says, as we can, if you can't go under your problems or around your problems, so then you have to jump over. And I say that you should jump over in the beginning. Don't consider your problems, just jump over them. The world says, when he's just translating it into Hebrew, that when it's possible to go below your problems, when it's impossible to go underneath your problems, right? Do things in a natural way and with impressing people, doing convincing people. You just jump over. And some people say that if you can't go naturally, then you jump over. And I say that lechatchila you should jump over all of your problems. That's what's called beauty of beauty. You don't get yourself soiled by how do you say by making deals and giving up your principles, but in a pleasant way you jump over all of your problems. And that's the idea of lechatchila Rebbe. Why is the Rebbe talking about this? Because he's talking about signs that the future redemption is going to come. And here where the Rebbe is speaking is talking about one day before Rosh Chodesh, when the moon will be full. And after that, the day after Rosh Chodesh is the second day of the new month. That's the month of Iyar. That's the month when the Rebbe Marash was born. And the Rebbe Marash was born, put into the world, into the Hasidim, into the world, into Hasidim specifically, into the world, the ability to ignore your problems and just jump over them. Hainu shekol inyanim, that everything of the days which are before this, beginning with 27th day of Nisan, everything becomes the lechatchila Rebbe. That the goal we have of making the world a good place, we jump over all of the obstacles, all the difficulties, all the people that stand in our way, and etc. And all of a sudden, you see the things change. That all of a sudden the world starts to agree with us. So we have all these signs coming. The Mashiach is supposed to be any moment now. Any moment now. And the Rebbe is going to bring more, but we're going to do that, God willing, tomorrow.